Alright, I'm very excited to have finally gotten my hands on this watch. Today we're taking a look at the SRPF77. This is the King Turtle. This is one of the latest of Seiko's Save the Ocean collaborations, and I gotta say I'm really impressed by it. I did something a little different this time, where I usually bring out a watch and do an unboxing for the first time and give my initial thoughts. I found that I was kind of changing my opinion after wearing it for a while. So I did this a little different. I decided to wear it on the wrist for a week, and I'm reporting now my opinions after wearing it for that time. But I'll do the normal unboxing so that you see what you get if you are to buy this watch. So in terms of packaging, you really don't get anything different from other Seiko pieces. A standard box with a standard outer sleeve, and here it is. Standard pillow, standard everything. I did buy a strap code bracelet, and I kind of wanted to show it off really briefly, and I found that this thing was very, very heavy duty. I actually probably won't be wearing it on this turtle because I do have a smaller wrist, and the turtle itself is already big, and you add this very big hunk of steel and it's just kind of too much for me. But the quality is there and everything seems to, the fit is perfect. It's just a lot sturdier and heavier than I expected. So I kind of just want to bring this out here. But like I said, as I started, I have been after this watch for a really long time. Well, since it came off, which isn't that long ago. But I've been after it because it's just something about this dial was different. This is the second version of the what they call the Manta Ray dial. Here it is. And from what I understand, they did kind of darken the dial a little bit. So this is being dubbed as a Dark Manta. And as you can see, this dial is just something really special. And the moment I saw this on people's wrists and videos, I knew I had to have it, and I was after it until I finally found a good deal on it. So the specifications are no different than any of the other turtles that have been out in the last few years. We're talking about a 44mm width, which is it's a pretty big watch. Seiko lists this at I think 45, but I have found that it's somewhere in between 44 and 45. The thickness is, I believe, at a little over 13mm. Again, Seiko lists this at 14, but I do think it's a little bit less than that. You have drilled lugs, which I always appreciate. It makes strap changes a lot easier. A 22mm lug width right here. And this, what they call the King Turtle, is an upgrade from the standard stock turtle reissues. They threw in a sapphire AR coated crystal, which is very nice. A sapphire, sorry, not a sapphire, a ceramic bezel, and a magnifier here. There it is. So these are all pretty good specification upgrades from the standard turtle, and that's really appreciated. Which is, it's also unique because Seiko for some reason does not like to throw sapphire crystals on their dive watches, but the fact that they did here is nice. So one of the first things that I noticed after wearing this for a few days was that the magnifier itself, I am normally not a fan of that. There it is. I'm normally not a fan, but for some reason this one is gonna stay. I purchased this watch with the intention of removing it on my own, but after wearing it, it's actually placed perfectly in line where there's no overlap on the sides. It doesn't hang too much on the sides. It's right in the middle, and it magnifies perfectly. And this is just, it's gonna stay. I like it very much. So one thing I do want to talk about here is the strap. This has to be the most comfortable Seiko strap I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot of them. Seiko is actually kind of notorious for lackluster straps, at least to me. So when I bought this, I did buy the bracelet because I knew I wouldn't use it on the strap. But this strap is extremely comfortable. It's extremely flexible, which the past bracelet straps I've used are very stiff. But this is extremely comfortable, and I do have to mention the color. The color is absolutely perfect for this dial. So kudos to Seiko on this strap. It really is incredible. You get this nice stopper here, very thick, and a nice big buckle here. I can't emphasize how much I like the strap. I own straps, I sell straps, I have bought many straps, and this might be the first watch that this is going to stay on the stock strap probably forever. So of course a big talking point here is going to be this dial. This dial is very, very unique. It's really impossible to describe in one sort of way. So just by doing this right here, you can see that it changes constantly with the light. And one of the things I do enjoy from this is that it is more of a gray dial than a blue dial. If you were to have a low light situation, it looks like a standard black or gray watch dial, but in the sunlight it does come alive, and it's quite vivid. I've never seen a dial like this from Seiko. As you can see up close here, it does have a texture to it that really does look exactly like water. And the fact that the sides of it are darker, as the light hits it, it kind of glistens unevenly, again like water, which I think this is exactly what they were going for. And this is an upgrade, maybe not an upgrade, but a change from their past Manta collaboration, where it was a lot lighter and the blue was kind of metallic-y, and I did not like that. But they brought the color down, and this just works perfectly for me. Here's a case back. It's a pretty standard case back. It does say stainless steel, sapphire crystal, and special edition. So that's pretty much the only difference that I've seen from other turtles that I've owned. But really, I can't emphasize how much this dial is a keeper. This alone might be one that I'm going to hold on to just because of this amazing dial. I really do think this might be the nicest non-Grand Seiko dial I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot of the higher end watches that have killer dials, but this one really does outdo it. So let's do some size comparisons here. Here's a counterpart line, the Samurai, and both of these are very big watches. As you can see that they do kind of fit relatively similar. Well, this one is a little bit chunkier than the Turtle and sharper. I don't think the Turtle in itself is a lot smaller or bigger. They're very similar, and like I said, the Turtle really is a big watch to wear. I have a wrist about 6.5 to 6.75 inches, and this is about as big as it gets for me to wear. I wouldn't be able to wear this if it were any bit bigger. I've owned a couple of different Turtles, and I ended up moving them on just because of the size, but I think this is going to be the exception here. Here it is again. I brought out this Citizen ProMaster just because they're very similar watches price range wise. But as you can see, the Turtle just is quite a bit bigger, and I believe this one is listed at 44 millimeters too. But the fact that it has small lugs, it does wear a little bit smaller. But even then, the Turtle does look and wear bigger. Just look at the bezel sizes here. And I also brought out this Bulova moon watch, the Lunar Pilot, because they have similar cushion cases. And again, this one, the Bulova gets criticized often just because of its big size, but as you can see, it's actually quite similar to the Seiko. But even at that, I would say the Bulova wears a little bit bigger because of the pushers, but they have a very similar size. So I usually do say that a watch wears smaller than the dimensions indicate. I wouldn't say it's the case with this one. This watch wears its full 44 millimeters, and it's going to be a presence on the wrist. Let's go ahead and do some lume shots. So before we do lume shots, I did want to show this watch in low light situations. And as you can see right here, this is absolutely muted when there's no light involved. This does look like a gray or maybe even a black watch, but it's not. But I do appreciate it just because it tones down the look of it, and I think it makes it more versatile. Something a little bit more, the dial being a little more dark, and once it's outside in the light, something a little bit more light. So I wanted to show this actually outside so you can see how the dial changes so much. So even here with sunlight being shown, the dial is completely different on the angle of the angle that the light is hitting it. It's a very, very big difference, and like I said, there's something that I've never seen on another Seiko watch or another Seiko dial, or to be honest, in any dial. The difference the light makes is just enormous here. Very impressed by this. I really do appreciate it, and this might be the reason why I keep this watch long term. So let's go ahead and do some Lume shots here. So of course with Seiko divers, you know you're getting killer Lume. But again, that dial on low light with Lume is just incredible to look at. Because again, this looks like a standard dark, maybe black or gray dial. And unless you knew any better, you would think that. But throw this under the light and it'll definitely shine. So with the Seiko Samurai, you're getting that same Lume. And really, both of these are fantastic tool watches. Extremely bright. To me, this is just about as good as it gets. At least power-wise, of Lume magnitude, this is as good as it gets. With Citizen, I do think the magnitude of the Lume is a little bit less, but I do enjoy the blue Lume more than I do green. As you can see, I do think the Citizen's Lume is not as strong, but the tone is just beautiful to me. And finally, Boliva's Lume is not great. It's actually surprisingly bad. See, maybe the camera isn't capturing it right, but it does look like it's already completely fading. So you're not getting the best Lume here, but it really does show how the Seiko Lume always blows out competition. Yeah, there you go. That really does show it better. On the wrist, like I said, it does wear very big, but the dial is just incredible to look at. I think this one's going to be staying in my collection. I've worn this for a week straight and I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to be wearing it for a couple of other weeks straight. But like I said, this is just a home run from Seiko, not just in terms for the Turtle line, but in any limited edition. This might be my all-time favorite limited edition watch. I highly recommend it and you won't be disappointed.